It all began like a typical quiet morning on our cul-de-sac, until Grandpa barged into the kitchen, muttering like a brewing storm. I was halfway through my cereal when he grunted, "She's crossed the line again." I didn't have to ask who he meant. It was Marlene. Marlene, the self-appointed queen of our neighborhood association, ran the block like a one-woman HOA SWAT team. No lawn ornament escaped her fury. No string of fairy lights twinkled past her strict 10 p.m. curfew. But this time, it was different. It was personal. She parked 2 trucks in our garage, Grandpa said, slapping a letter down on the table. Elegant cursive sprawled across while letterhead explained the trucks belonged to her out-of-town cousin, staying temporarily. No call, no heads up, just a key hidden under our mat and 2 massive trucks now blocking Grandpa's access to his woodworking space. Now, Grandpa's not one to raise his voice. He doesn't need to. But that morning, the glare behind his glasses could have cracked concrete. I followed him outside, and there they were, 2 oversized diesel beasts wedged into our garage like they owned the place. Grandpa stared for a full minute in silence. Then, without a word, he hit the garage remote, slammed the door shut, and locked the side entrance. "She can explain it to the cops," he said calmly. I blinked. "You're calling the police." She entered without permission. "That's trespassing. Her vehicles are now unlawfully parked on private property. She's about to learn what private actually means." By 10 a.m., Marlene was pacing our driveway like a lioness in heels, yelling into her phone and banging on the garage. She acted like we had committed the offense. "You can't do this. That's illegal," she hollered. Grandpa sipped his coffee on the porch. "Not touching a thing. Just keeping my home secure. Police will take it from here." And sure enough, they did. A very puzzled officer arrived, and things got awkward fast. Marlene waved her HOA badge like it came with national authority. Grandpa showed the officer ring cam footage, her slipping a key under our mat and letting herself in. The officer turned to her. "Ma'am, this is considered unlawful entry." Marlene's mouth opened, then closed, stunned. That was only the start. Marlene wasn't used to being defied, especially not by someone like Grandpa, calm, firm, and immune to her manipulative charm and subtle threats. The officer let her off with a warning and told her to remove the trucks. She stomped away in beige heels, grumbling. The trucks vanished by noon. But the real fireworks were still coming. Later that day, an HOA-wide email went out: "Emergency meeting, neighborhood security incident." Grandpa didn't even blink. "She's spinning it," I said. "Trying to make you the villain." Grandpa chuckled, polishing his service medals. "If she wants a fight, she picked the wrong soldier." By 6 p.m., the usually empty clubhouse was standing room only. Marlene stood up front like a politician facing scandal, flanked by 2 uneasy board members. She launched into her version. "I temporarily housed my cousin's vehicles as a neighborly favor," she announced. "Unfortunately, one resident took matters too far by locking them in and involving police. We must restore trust in our community." Grandpa stood. "May I reply?" She nodded, stiffly. He rose. "I have video evidence of you unlocking my garage and using it without permission. That's not a trust issue, that's a boundary violation. You exploited your HOA role for personal benefit." Gasps around the room. Other neighbors spoke up. Turns out Marlene had been quietly stepping over lines, unauthorized fines, unannounced visits. One woman said Marlene once tried to evict a tenant because their welcome mat was unprofessional. The mood shifted fast. Marlene's poise cracked. Grandpa raised his hand again. I motioned for the board to formally review the president's conduct and restrict future unilateral access to private properties. Murmurs of agreement followed. "This is a witch hunt," Marlene cried, but it was too late. The vote passed. Her unshakable power had finally hit a wall. As we left, Grandpa laughed. "Didn't think it'd go that smoothly." I glanced back at Marlene, furiously texting someone. "Yeah," I said, "but she's not finished." 3 days passed. No flyers, no emails, no bogus citations, just silence. Grandpa and I both knew that meant she was plotting. "She's up to something," he muttered while organizing tools in his now peaceful, truck-free garage. On the 4th day, it hit: 5 separate HOA citations, all addressed to Grandpa. Improper lawn edging, noise complaints, even one about a supposedly too tall flagpole. He opened each letter slowly, eyebrows raising higher with every line. Then he chuckled. "She's throwing darts in the dark." "What now?" I asked. "I'm going to give her exactly what she wants, an audience." Grandpa spent the whole next day filing official appeals. For each violation, he requested public hearings. He copied the HOA mailing list on every email and attached photos proving how every claim was false. But Marlene didn't stop. That night, our security camera pinged again. She was back, at the edge of our driveway, phone in hand, snapping pictures of our yard like she was building a legal case. At 10 p.m., there was a knock. A noise complaint. The officer asked if we'd been using power tools. Grandpa gestured to his workbench. Unplugged. I've been asleep since 9. Want to see the footage? The officer grinned. Wouldn't be the first time we got a bogus call from this address. Then Grandpa did something bold. He invited the officer inside, served him coffee, and gave a full rundown, from the garage incident to the fake citations. The officer took notes and said he'd forward the file to the city's civil harassment unit. She's escalating, I said. Desperation looks like this, Grandpa replied, stepping onto the porch. He looked out at the quiet houses. But every move she makes just digs her deeper. He paused. And I've got one move left she'll never see coming. I raised an eyebrow. What kind of move? He smiled. Let's just say the HOA is about to see leadership in a new light. The next week, Grandpa was on a mission. He wasn't out for revenge, he wanted change. When the HOA announced a special election due to complaints against the president, Grandpa filed to run that same day. Marlene was furious. No one's ever run against her, Mrs. Delgado whispered. But your grandpa, he's got guts. Flyers went up. Word spread fast. Grandpa didn't make grand promises. His flyer simply read, no drama. No power trips. Just fairness, respect, and peace. Marlene, of course, launched a full PR campaign. Yard signs, staged photo ops, even a landscaping crew to tidy her lawn. Election night, the clubhouse was buzzing. Folding chairs filled, neighbors leaned in like it was a season finale. Marlene went first, polished, dramatic, loaded with phrases like, neighborhood synergy, and, visual harmony. Then Grandpa stepped up, no notes, no script. I served this country. I built this home. I bake cookies for my grandkids. What I don't do is bully my neighbors. This election isn't about me or her. It's about the kind of street you want to live on. The room erupted in applause. Marlene scoffed. This isn't a popularity contest. No, Grandpa said. It's a trust contest. Ballots were counted right there. Grandpa won by a landslide. Marlene stormed out before the final count. A board member handed Grandpa a thick folder labeled, Transition Binder. Inside were documents, HOA duties, and dozens of complaints Marlene had ignored. He glanced through them and smiled. Time to get to work. That night, we sat on the porch under the stars. Grandpa sipped sweet tea. She'll probably appeal, I said. She might even move, he replied. But it won't change a thing. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. Think she'll ever apologize? I asked. He laughed. Not a chance. But we don't need her to. The trucks never came back. The bogus fines disappeared. And Grandpa's garage stayed a peaceful, sacred space, complete with a hand-painted sign that read, No Karen Zone. If that story made you smile, don't forget to hit that like button. Got your own HOA horror tale? Drop it in the comments. I read them all. And subscribe for more justice, neighborhood drama, and sweet Grandpa wins. Because trust me, he's just getting started.